If you're having back pain issues, should you take supplements at all? Should you even bother? Or are they a giant waste of time, money, and energy? And if the answer is yes to that question, which ones are worth looking into? In this video, we will explore this topic in a little bit of depth. There's not really a ton of information to discuss here, but we will go through the most important points. Personally, I struggled with back pain for 10 years, and during that time, I experimented with a lot of supplements. And while I was experimenting with all of the supplements frequently, not for all of them, but for most of them, I was actually gathering a lot of data related to the pain I was feeling and how the effects of the supplements, what effect they had on the pain, and also other data points such as my energy levels, the levels of stress, joy, pain, like everything that was somewhat relevant to, let's say, the general state of my well-being, but also the effects of the supplements as well. So I have a little bit of experience here. This is gonna be individual. First of all, like different people might respond differently to supplements, but in general, I think this is gonna apply for most people, especially if you're struggling with chronic back pain. You're gonna probably reach the same conclusions that I did. So first of all, the big questions. Do supplements even have any effect on chronic back pain? The short answer is not really. Maybe they do play a little bit of a role in maybe reducing the pain. Usually it's more like a temporary effect. In most cases, like most supplements don't really do a ton for you in terms of reducing chronic back pain. There are only a handful of exceptions here. Notably, I noticed that 3 supplements may play a minor role in helping you with chronic back pain, and one of them actually kind of even has, like, I would describe it as a mild effect. So this one is by far the most effective supplement you can take for back pain. And even the effects from this supplement, they're not really gonna be anything like crazy, nothing to write home about. But this is still something that may be worth looking into. And this is still a fairly safe, fairly inexpensive method. So there's no harm in taking and experimenting with this supplement at the very least. So I will go over 3 supplements that I found to be kind of useful for back pain. Really, not really like anything gigantic here, but still you may find some benefits by experimenting with these. The first supplement that I think may have a really tiny role in reducing your back pain is actually zinc. I found out that a small dose of 20 milligrams may have been a little bit of helpful in reducing my chronic pain levels. More importantly, I would probably say this actually reduced my stress levels and increased my levels of like positive emotions, all of the like kind of joy, relaxation, calmness. I actually measured like all of these data points, and I found that zinc is actually like quite kind of useful in these regards, and that can usually translate to reduced chronic back pain. More importantly, and this is like just my theory for the time being, but I think zinc was actually useful in kind of like improving your immune system as a whole, probably reducing the levels of chronic inflammation that you're going through, and that's gonna also translate into reduced chronic back pain. At least this is my best theory so far on why this supplement out of all of them like seem to have some effect on chronic back pain. Supplement number 2 that I also think had some small role in reducing chronic back pain was vitamin D3, and this is actually a combination of D3 and vitamin K2. You usually want to take those in together. And when it comes to vitamin K2, the MK7 variant is the most effective one here. So essentially, you're probably going to want to take the same dosages with these vitamins. So if you're taking, let's say, 1000 units or 25 micrograms of vitamin D3, you want to match that with the same level of vitamin K2. I also think that this supplement, or rather a combination of supplements, didn't really have like a direct effect on reducing chronic back pain, but by improving my mood and well-being overall, that kind of spilled over into like a related effect of reducing chronic back pain in general. And finally, the supplement number 3, and the one that I think is actually the most effective supplement for chronic back pain, and once more, like, this is not like a miracle cure, but it can actually be effective, and it can have even like an immediate effect in a lot of cases, is actually magnesium. I started experimenting with 400 milligrams, but I discovered that once I increased the dosage of up to 800 milligrams per day, the effects were actually kind of even visible. Like I even started to notice some reductions in back pain in a lot of days. Like this wasn't a universal solution, but for example, whenever I woke up with a lot of pain in the morning in my back, I discovered that magnesium could help here. It did help like relax my body a little bit, and that made it easier for me to start and get going with the day. I usually split them like 400 milligrams in the morning and 400 milligrams in the evening. When I did that, I discovered like this supplement actually had a little bit of an effect on back pain. So this one is actually like if you decide on taking just one supplement, I would probably recommend magnesium. 800 milligrams is usually a safe dosage, but you may want to start with 400 milligrams and try to like maybe gradually increase the dosage and see what kind of effects it has on your back pain. Now there is one major point that I also think we should cover here. These supplements are definitely not a replacement for a good nutrition. And in general, you will notice that all of these supplements that I recommended here, they're actually found quite plentifully in a diet that's kind of like on the lower carb end of the spectrum. So if you eat like maybe keto or carnivore, you're typically even gonna cover all of these dosages just with your nutrition alone. Like maybe you want to supplement a little bit, especially if you're not eating like a lot of, let's say like red meat or like stuff like liver or eggs or stuff like that. But if your nutrition is already rich in those foods, I think you're probably gonna cover these micronutrients, and you're also gonna see that this type of nutrition actually works the best for chronic back pain. By the way, I talk a lot about the correct nutrition for chronic back pain and everything else regarding reducing back pain in my free book. It's completely free. The link to it is in the description or the pinned comment. Definitely check it out because I think it's really gonna be a massive resource for you. Also check out my other resources here. I have a course on chronic back pain that I think is honestly like the best thing on the internet right now when it comes to eliminating chronic back pain. Also check out my app on reducing back pain as well. All of these resources should be valuable to you in reducing your chronic back pain for good, essentially healing you. The next video that's likely gonna appear above me anytime now is gonna go into more detail on what's the proper nutrition for chronic back pain. Definitely check it out. That's also like a really important pillar of healing chronic back pain forever. I will see you there, and until next time, be brave.